In the Gulf of Mexico, at the easternmost tip of Louisiana, the Chandeleur Islands form the very first line of defense for the rapidly diminishing coastlines of both Louisiana and Mississippi. But over the course of the past century, more than 89% of the island's acreage has disappeared, leaving the delicate coastal ecosystems of the mainland vulnerable. Formed over 2,000 years ago, this narrow arc of sediment and sand spans nearly 50 miles from end to end and provides a crucial habitat for a multitude of plant and animal species. As part of the Breton National Wildlife Refuge, the second oldest refuge in the country, this remote barrier island wilderness and its inhabitants are federally protected. To the casual observer, they may appear to be somewhat static, but over time, the ebb and flow of the tides has ever so slowly reshaped these islands. This cycle of erosion and accretion is a natural part of the life of barrier islands, as they play their part in protecting the inner wetlands from the impact of ocean waves, the intrusion of salt water, and the damaging effects of storm surges. But the ferocity and frequency of recent hurricanes has greatly diminished the island's ability to rebuild themselves. In addition to the devastating effects of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, the islands were hit hard by the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in 2010. Their close proximity to the spill resulted in frequent and repeated oiling impacts, further compounding the rate of their deterioration. And now, the Chandeleur Islands are vanishing at an alarming pace, leaving numerous species of plants and animals in a state of decline. In fact, nowhere else in Louisiana can such a vast number of species in the greatest need of conservation be found. The abundance and diversity of the plant and animal life on the islands is not a matter of chance. As with all valuable real estate, location is everything. Nearly 25 miles offshore, these uninhabited islands provide an ideal sanctuary for fish and wildlife. Furthermore, their central location allows them to play a pivotal role in maintaining biodiversity by serving as a habitat linkage between the eastern and western regions of the Gulf, promoting the health of the entire Gulf Coast and attracting an impressive variety of marine species, the most varied and abundant of which can be found just beneath the surface. Seagrass. As the only marine seagrass meadow in Louisiana, it is among the most diverse assemblage of marine grasses found anywhere in the entire Gulf of Mexico. These meadows make ideal habitats for wildlife and fisheries, providing shelter and sustenance for a myriad of marine creatures. Of the many varieties of grasses, one stands out from the rest, not necessarily for its visual attraction, but for what it attracts. Known as the old-growth forest of seagrasses, this turtle grass is an essential foraging ground for loggerhead, green, and Kemp's Ridley turtles, the most endangered species of sea turtle on the planet. In just the past 2 years, 108 sea turtle crawls were documented across the islands. This is thought to be a dramatic underestimation of the island's total nesting potential. But these are not the only rare animals that nest here, nor are they the most abundant. Collectively, the Chandeleur Islands host some 215,000 nesting birds each year. This is the largest nesting site in the entire state. Its location and warm climate also make it an ideal wintering ground for migratory red knots, redhead ducks, piping plovers, and an array of other species. And each winter, they arrive by the tens of thousands. As critical as this habitat may be for its seasonal visitors, for the Chandeleur gull, it is absolutely essential. A reproductively viable hybrid of kelp and herring gulls, this endemic species nests nowhere else on Earth. But in the span of only a few decades, the Chandeleur gull population has plummeted from approximately 100 birds in the 1990s to just 24 documented sightings in 2023. Make that 28. Captured here on film for the very first time, these 4 chicks could be among the final generations of Chandeleur gulls on the planet. Though scientists once estimated that the islands would stand for several centuries to come, the latest models predict that without a concerted, large-scale restoration, many of the Chandeleur Islands will be underwater in just a few decades. But all hope is not lost. As part of Louisiana's 50-year coastal master plan, a large-scale barrier island maintenance project to restore this invaluable coastal ecosystem is already underway. Although engineering and design plans are slated to be complete by 2025, funding for the construction of the project, which will exceed $200 million, has yet to be identified. As we confront the realities of our changing environment, we must adapt and work together to restore and preserve our coastal ecosystems, safeguarding the future of the entire Gulf Coast for generations to come.